What's going on, everybody? Grimm here, and welcome to the Horror Show. I'll just go ahead and tell you guys what this is all about because I felt that it was time for a change. And what better way to kick off a new chapter than with a fresh look? One that I had an old friend help me with. Oh, yeah, the eye. Well, when I was doing the finishing touches, I ran into some technical difficulties. Looking pretty good. And I have some trouble seeing out of this eye hole. That's okay. I'll cut it a little bigger. What the fuck am I doing? That's dangerous. There we go. Alright, I just gotta hold still. Anyway, we're not here to talk about me. It was 3 years ago that the horror genre suffered a huge loss. Made all the worse because 2 years prior saw the passing of Wes Craven, and only 1 month before, we lost George Romero. But August of 2017 was when Tobe Hooper passed away. And with over 40 years in the industry and 19 feature films under his belt, he definitely left his mark on the genre in an undeniable way. And today we're going to take a look back at one of his lesser talked about and lesser loved films. And there's no better time than as we sit here and remember a one-of-a-kind visionary filmmaker who helped reinvent terror as we know it. Our story begins with... Hey, did I put in the wrong fucking movie? Oh, I get it. Also... Right? What the hell are you still doing here? You're too young to watch this crap. Go on, get. Why don't you go play with that nice Voorhees kid from up the street? You two get along, don't you? And hey, make sure you're home by the time the street lights are on. I don't want a million calls from your family wondering where the fuck you went. Look, I love the guy. I do. He just frustrates me sometimes. But hey, at least he tries. It's more than I could say for some people. It's August. Luckily, our mystery assailant's knife isn't one of mine, and he runs off after being unmasked. This bathing beauty is our heroine, Amy, and the precocious peeping prankster is her little brother, Joey, whom she has some choice words for after the stunts he's pulled this evening.
I'm not taking you to the carnival on Saturday! And while I'm there tonight, you think about this. I'm gonna get even with you. You're not gonna know when or where, but I'm gonna get you so bad you're never gonna forget it! Never!
Oaths of vengeance aside, the carnival she is referring to is one she just so happens to be going out to tonight, despite the warnings from her father about a gruesome discovery found after it went through the neighboring town the year before.
Did you hear what I said about that carnival? They had to use dental charts to identify the bodies.
I heard you, Daddy.
Where are you going tonight?
Well, answer your father.
We're going to the movies.
Oh, Daddy. Always worried that I'm gonna get butchered by some maniac at the carnival. Like, that'll happen.
Liar.
Well, yeah, kid. I mean, wouldn't have much of a movie if she didn't lie and go to the Forbidden Carnival. Unless she went to go see a movie at the Dead End Drive-In. Then we'd still have a movie. Shitty one, but technically a movie. I neglected to mention it before, but the reason Amy is all dolled up and lying to her parents is because she has a big date tonight with Buzz. Let's check in on their chemistry.
Besides, I sort of promised my father that we were going to the movies.
Get a bit, you old man. He's just trying to bum your evening.
can you say that? You don't even know my father.
Hey, listen up, will you?
Boy, I sure hope he makes it. While our mismatched pair head out after picking up Amy's friends Liz and Richie, we jump back over to little Joey, sneaking out, presumably to head over to the carnival on his own. That's okay, they're not going to catch him. Dad's busy lecturing the dog about the evils of carnivals, and Mom just poured scotch number 8. So our group finally arrives at the carnival we've heard so much about. And yep, sure is a carnival. Chock full of all your normal carnival stuff. Games, rides, food, lights, people pretending not to see the homeless, prizes, a Ferris wheel, and getting harassed in the bathroom by someone who doesn't know how to mind their own fucking business.
God is watching you. He hears everything.
Yeah? Ask him if he can hear this. Things do take a decidedly darker turn once the gang decides to check out the Freak Animals attraction, and come upon what appear to be stillborn fetuses on display in the back. It's around this time that Joey arrives, and while he visits the titular House of Fun, Richie has a doozy of an idea.
Let's spend the night.
What?
In the Funhouse.
You're crazy.
Unbeknownst to them, however, little Joey has spotted them and watches them enter the ride, but not leave. Nothing like a first date ending in sex on the dirty and probably sticky floor of an old carnival ride whilst trespassing. But no time to bask in that post-coital regret, as our teen's attention is attracted to some commotion down below. Seems like the mysterious masked operator of the Funhouse is in the mood too, and willing to pay to play. Which Madame Zena, the fortune teller, is more than happy to oblige, after some negotiating.
Strike a hard bargain. Okay. Now relax. Just relax. Oh, too late. Nothing to be ashamed of. It happens to the best of us.
Holy shit! I know who's under that mask.
That's all. Is it?
I'm sorry, Sally. I don't know what happened.
It's okay.
Never gets old. And just like an overeager baby-dicked football player on prom night, old Frank blames the girl for his hilarious inadequacies, and instantly gets violent. I bet you didn't see that coming. Sorry. Needless to say, our intrepid interlopers have had enough of this evening's festivities and decide it's time to go. However, while searching for the exit, Richie stops under the pretense of checking Madame Xenia for a pulse, only to confirm the worst.
Shit. It's locked.
What?
Hey, man, Hey, man. It's a steel door and it's got a chain on it.
Back upstairs, the group hears more noise from the room below. It seems like the masked operator has returned with the ride's barker, who is none too pleased that the breaker seems to be tripped and is livid that one of their own was killed.
You really did it this time, didn't you? You killed one of the family. Damn. I told you, didn't I tell you? I don't care what you do, it's a dirty business with them locals. But I don't want you doing nothing with our kind. You understand me?
I listened to the abusive drunk, son. This is all common knowledge. I mean, did you even watch the training video? Things quickly go from bad to shitstorm as upon returning the money the operator borrowed, the barker opens the cash box to find that it's been cleaned out.
Tell me where my money is! Where is it?
So it's pretty obvious that Richie wasn't checking on the fortune teller's condition, rather he went back to steal the money. And just when you think he couldn't possibly do something dumber...
Do you remember? Did she take it? She don't want to take it? You tell me where...
Take off them damn gloves. We got work to do.
So while Richie is being berated for being the massive dipshit he is, Joey has managed to sneak back into the carnival and is looking for his sister and her friends when... And then he grew up to be the best damn weight guesser in the whole county.
Would I win? Anything in this general area, right in here, anything below the stereo and on this side of the bicentennial glasses, anything between the ashtrays and the thimbles, anything in this 3 inches, right in here in this area, that includes the chiclets but not the erasers.
Back inside, and Buzz has armed both himself and Richie while the barker loads up and tries to convince his son, yes, his son, don't you see the resemblance? To help him hunt the kids down. Which seems to have convinced him because... Oh no, not Richie. He had so many redeeming qualities! Meanwhile, the guy who grabbed Joey managed to get a hold of his parents, and they're super relieved that he's okay, especially Mom.
Yeah, poor baby. We'll get right straight home to bed.
And we're supposed to hate the carnies. Why? Back inside, a dark figure is quickly approaching the kids on one of the ride's carts, and when they finally get close enough, Buzz springs forth and... Oh no, not Richie. He had so many redeeming... Before Liz can catch up to triple kill him, she falls prey to a trapdoor, leaving Amy and Buzz to vainly attempt to follow. All hope seems lost until Amy spots her parents leaving with Joey, who actually spots her. But remember this? No, not that. This!
I'm gonna get even with you. I'm gonna get you so bad you're never gonna forget it!
What's the matter, son?
Never!
Yep, Joey thinks this is all just his sister's elaborate plan to get back at him. Which, when you think about it, is fundamentally retarded, but then again, I would never accuse this kid of being the brightest knife in the shed. What? And Amy's parents can't hear her screams over the sound of the exhaust fan. If I could put their situation delicately, I would say...
Completely fucked! Has anybody else made this discovery?
While on the subject of people being completely screwed, Liz awakens alone underneath the ride next to another exhaust fan in what looks like a maintenance tunnel. Well, not alone. As the creature advances on her, she realizes that she still has the dagger and quickly formulates a plan.
I know you like girls. I could be nice to you.
Naturally, the big horny lug falls for this, and it goes about as well as you'd expect. Now there's a metaphor. Chicks lure you in by being all hot and smelling good, and then BAM! All your shit's boxed up in the garage, there's stuffed animals on your bed, and you're getting told you load the dishwasher wrong. Women. Right, fellas?
Did you say something?
Nothing?
God damn it. How many times do I have to tell you that plates go on the bottom?
While the creature is busy sharpening his claws on Liz's face, Amy and Buzz reach the exit but are confronted by the barker, who lets the pair know that it doesn't matter if anyone knows they're there. There's carnivals all over and that he can just pull up stakes and leave after stashing their bodies out in the woods. And as they wait for the barker's son to finish up with Liz, Richie makes one final appearance, which causes Buzz and the barker to get into a fight over who gets to shoot him first. Oh, come on guys, don't fight. We can all shoot Richie. But there's no time to rest as the creature jumps down to confront our duo and is none too pleased to find his father dead. He turns to confront Buzz while Amy flees to the next room. Now, I've seen some people criticize Amy in this scene for not staying to help Buzz out, but not only does he tell her to run, she's unarmed, scared out of her fucking mind, and clearly not a fighter. I mean, come on, what does she weigh, like 90 pounds soaking wet? My point is, give poor Amy a break. She's been through a lot. I mean, her boyfriend just died, and on their first date. Fleeing in the only direction she can, Amy ends up back in the office where she makes a gruesome discovery. But there's no use crying over Claude Liz when the creature is fast approaching. Oh yeah, lock the door, I'm sure that'll stop him. It's like you people want us to kill you. Luckily, Amy stumbles across a hidden passage while the monster struggles to break down the door, and winds up in the main machine room for the ride, which, unfortunately for her, is locked up tight. But escape quickly takes a backseat to survival as her assailant drops in. Grabbing a crowbar, Amy attempts to fight the monster, but he seems unfazed by her attacks. However, when the killer carny rips her weapon from her hands, he accidentally strikes the fuse box, which of course lights his ass up like 4th of July. Collapsing, the crispy creature winds up tangled in the chain and pulley system that dominates the room, which means he's dragged all around the room until ending up right back in front of our horrified heroine. Springing back to life one last time, he attempts to pull a struggling Amy close, but before he can, is crushed to death and cut in half by the large gears that power the funhouse, while his would-be victim watches on in horror. Outside, as the sun's coming up, a traumatized Amy emerges from the ride through the exit which was broken open by the malfunctioning machinery. And amidst a smattering of apathetic carnival employees and homeless people, she wanders off while the Funhouse animatronic fat lady powers on to have one last laugh. And then she went home, killed her shitty parents, drowned her shitty little brother in the tub, and lived happily ever after as an art dealer in Miami, at least for a time. And after his amazing success with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Tobe Hooper's follow-up film, Eaten Alive, was met with very unfair criticism, and his other project before going on to do the Funhouse was the TV miniseries adaptation of Stephen King's book Salem's Lot, which was met with far more praise than Eaten Alive, and is still pretty well regarded as a creepy little vampire series with some haunted house elements thrown in for good measure. And in 1980, another low-budget horror flick struck it big, and of course I'm talking about Friday the 13th. With this, studios big and small started to try to get in on the ground floor of this new trend of teen-oriented slasher flicks, and that's exactly what Universal thought they were getting into when they optioned Larry Block's script for the Funhouse. However, the end result is anything but your typical body count flick. From the amazing set design to the dynamic cinematography, this movie has that distinct feel that Tobe Hooper always brought to his films. Above all else, this film manages to take a mundane setting like a small-town carnival and inject this air of menace and unease throughout the whole thing that slowly builds right up until shit hits the fan. These subtle signs and hints culminate when our characters see something that they shouldn't in a place they were never supposed to be. And the atmosphere is pumped up exponentially once they get inside the funhouse with the use of deep and vibrant colors that are very reminiscent of the Italian giallo flicks. We've also got some pretty great performances from a very young Elizabeth Berridge, a fresh from urban cowboy Cooper Huckabee, and veterans of both stage and screen Sylvia Miles, as well as Kevin Conway, in a triple row as the Freak Show, Stripper, and Funhouse Barkers. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the awesome creature design by none other than Rick Baker. This isn't your run-of-the-mill sleazy Friday the 13th clone. It's a genuinely effective and disturbing film about lost innocence and a cautionary tale about going places and doing shit you shouldn't. As well as more social commentary on the further breakdown of the American family, which is something that Tobe Hooper just loved to inject into his films. And while the film does contain more on-screen bloodshed than something like Chainsaw, it's still very restrained when it comes to its approaches to gore. It's more about what you don't see and what's hinted at in the overall feeling and the way the characters are portrayed as opposed to just watching people get eviscerated, which both have their charms. But in this case, I think it works a lot better than just spraying viscera all over the screen. The overall presentation still comes across just as sleazy and graphic as any hard R flick you care to mention. And this is all thanks, of course, to the direction of Tobe Hooper. From Chainsaw and its sequel, to Life Force or Spontaneous Combustion, Hooper always demonstrated an amazing eye for detail and an uncanny ability to impart a gritty and voyeuristic look to his films, even in later efforts like his pseudo-remake of the Toolbox Murders. It's clear that his early days as a documentary cameraman provided the base for what would become his style. The man could do anything: sci-fi, supernatural, thriller, and The guy even did Billy Idol's video for Dancing With Myself. And let's not forget Poltergeist, a film that he co-wrote with producer Steven Spielberg, in which he was able to bring Spielberg's vision to life so well, it's still debated today whether or not he actually directed the movie or if Spielberg ghost-directed it. And yes, Tobe Hooper directed Poltergeist, and anyone who says he didn't is an asshole. Right, Joe Bob?
So they jointly worked out the casting, the general shooting schedule. They were like two kids at play, so they called each other several times a day. And when production began, Spielberg wanted to be on the set. So on a particular day, this Los Angeles Times reporter was visiting the set. Spielberg happened to be shooting second unit in front of the house because Hooper was out in the backyard getting that scene where the tree comes to life in the little girl's dreams. The following week, this article appears in the Times implying that Hooper was not really directing Poltergeist at all. So, twice successful, twice cursed, Hooper was the only director in history who couldn't get work after two movies that both earned more than $100 million.
You heard the man. Point is, he seldom got the credit he deserved, and unfortunately never enjoyed the success that he should have had. And in case the message wasn't coming across, yes, Tobe Hooper is my favorite horror director. The man changed the course of horror, and regardless of how you feel about the rest of his filmography, he's remembered as a true master for good reason. And while it's depressing that he's no longer with us, Tobe Hooper has left a lasting mark on horror history, and a legacy of terror for all of us to enjoy, discuss, and be inspired by. Needless to say, I recommend the hell out of this movie, as well as pretty much every other flick I mentioned in the review, especially if you're some kind of anomalous pud who's never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Poltergeist because you were born with your head up your ass. But in all seriousness, the Funhouse is an underrated gem from probably the most criminally underrated genre director in history. Unfortunately, the world of horror got a little less scary now that he's no longer with us. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the vid, and I'll see you next time.
I believe these horror films are catharsis. I mean, I think we need to let off that energy. It's really weird because I've had people ask me about making these films. Or do they scare you when you're making them? It's like, no, it's not at all scary. I would like to see it get scary again. I would like to see people scream again. I think there should be more storytelling. There's really no reason that we can't cheat, backdoor some good storytelling into this new world and age of technology. Someone will find that other closed door in that dark room in our head, and they'll open it.